It is all but confirmed that Abhimanyu Easwaran is going to be India's backup opener for the test matches.
Before we talk about Abhimanyu Easwaran and Ruturaj Gaikwad, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, subscribe, like, and share everything. Let's get into it. There's been a lot of talk in the media about who's going to be the backup opener for the Indian team in test matches. There's been a lot of speculation of how Rohit Sharma might miss the first two test matches in the BGT. And the two clear contenders for the backup opening spot seem to be Ruturaj Gaikwad and Abhimanyu Easwaran.
Now, of course, the Ranji season is also underway, and this is a great opportunity for us to look at the red ball potential players who can come into the Indian squad for the BGT. So we thought, why not look at the stats of the last few games that includes the Duleep Trophy, the Irani Cup, and now the first round of the Ranji Trophy, and compare these players and see who's on top. Now, looking at Abhimanyu Easwaran, in his entire first-class career, he's played 99 matches at an average of 49.92, and he's just someone who's consistently scored runs, especially in the last couple of seasons. Now, talking about the past year that includes the Duleep Trophy games, the Irani Cup, and the first round of the Ranji Trophy, Easwaran has played 5 first-class games in which he's played 8 innings and has an average of 105.3, which includes 400s. And the thing about these hundreds also is that he scored hundreds in the Duleep Trophy, Irani Cup, and they're also sizable hundreds. He also got 100 in the first round of the Ranji Trophy itself. And the consistency this year has been insane. His Ranji Trophy 100 was his 4th consecutive 100 in a first class match. And Easwaran seems to be a case of one of those classic Indian first class batsmen who scores heaps and heaps of runs, has really good technique, has watertight technique, seems to have really good defense, and all in all, it just seems like a perfect recipe for him to become a backup opener. Also, considering the fact that he's around the ripe age where he's going to be entering his golden form when it comes to batting itself.
Now, on the contrary, if you look at someone like Ruturaj Gaikwad, who's supposed to be his competition, who's supposed to be the second one running with Abhimanyu Easwaran for that opening spot, in the last 5 games, he's averaged 40.85, which is less than his overall average of 43, which is already less than Abhimanyu Easwaran. In the last 5 matches that he's played, he's had 350s and he's not been able to convert any of these 350s into hundreds, which is a big problem if you're trying to be a contention for the Indian team. You need to score big. In fact, in the first match of the Ranji Trophy, he didn't even open. He, being the captain of Maharashtra, batted number 4, which is quite problematic if you are trying to pick someone for the opening spot. One thing that works in his favor is he's already debuted for the Indian team in the white ball setup, but he hasn't done enough to be a contender in the red ball game. Again, going back to the fact that he's batting number 4 in Ranji matches is quite concerning.
Now, another name that a lot of people keep talking about, especially in our comment section, is Sai Sudarshan. Now, for Sai Sudarshan, he's also been playing county cricket, and in fact, in his last 5 first class games, he has an average of 40.6 across 8 innings. Now, in that too, he's got 100 and 150. He's looked fairly solid, but he's someone who currently gets a start, and this is something we've seen in the IPL as well, where he gets a start and then kind of throws his wicket away. So I feel for Sai Sudarshan, there's still a lot of time and a lot of work that needs to be done in red ball cricket before India look at him as an option at the top or even the middle order.
Now, we're not going to talk about Shreyas Iyer again, but he once again failed in the first set of matches in the Ranji Trophy. This might be the end of Shreyas Iyer for a while unless he piles and piles on scores, because there are a lot of options, a lot of players who can replace him, who have replaced him in fact, and it's only if he has big season in Ranji and the white ball setup, it's only then he can come back to the Indian team.
Now, coming to the bowlers, there's been a lot of chat about Manav Sutar, Tanush Kotian and Shams Mulani in particular. Now, from these three as well, Tanush Kotian has stood out a bit, not only because of his bowling exploits, but also what he's been able to do with the bat. We also saw that in the Irani Cup, where he was able to get a century for Mumbai and save the match and eventually help them win the Irani Trophy itself. Now, in his last 5 first-class games, he's averaged 43 with the bat, where he's got 100 and 250s. With the ball as well, he's got 22 wickets at an impressive average of 20.1 and a strike rate of 40.4. Now, of course, because of the kind of form he's been in recently, some would say that he's on par with Washington Sundar when it comes to the pecking order for spinning all-rounders to play test matches for India. This is also something that's been talked about a lot more now because Ravichandran, Aswin and Jadeja are coming towards the end of their careers, and someone like a Tanush Kotian, Washington Sundar and Sai Kishore are options that are being looked at to replace Jadeja and Aswin.
Now, the only criticism we can think of this 26-year-old is if for someone like him to perform in Australia will be very, very tricky because of his action, because of the way he goes about his bowling. If you closely look at his bowling and his action, it doesn't seem like he puts a lot of body behind the ball. There's not much behind the ball. He hardly uses his non-bowling arm. There's a lot of technical aspects to this. We do a lot of technical breakdowns on Tuesdays. So if you haven't subscribed to us already, subscribe, like, like, share, and everything. But yeah, it doesn't seem like he's going to get a lot of purchase on wickets that aren't going to assist. And for someone like him to perform in Australia, it'll be very, very important for him to make those adjustments, which is also why we think it's a little too early to introduce him into the test setup, especially if you're going to Australia.
Now, coming to the pacers that we have in our reserves, the first name I want to talk about obviously is Yash Dayal. Now, through reports, we know that the Indian management is looking for a left-arm pacer that they can take to the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Now, firstly, coming to Yash Dayal, he did get picked in the India-Bangladesh Test Series. He didn't get to play any games there, but he's someone who's been doing well in the red ball setup for a while now. He did decently in the Duleep Trophy. In his last 3 first-class games, he's balled in 6 innings, got 10 wickets at an average of 25.4. One thing that works in his favor is the fact that India is looking to take left-arm pacers to the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Also, the reason why he was picked for the Bangladesh series in the first place, and also the fact that he got dropped from the New Zealand series to go and play some Ranji Trophy cricket means that India is probably looking at him for the BGT itself. It'll be important for him to have a good Ranji season, at least up to the point of the BGT, so that he has a good chance of getting selected.
Now, his direct competition would be someone like a Khaleel Ahmed, who's again a left-arm fast bowler. Again, in the last couple of first-class games, there's 3 matches, 6 innings. He's picked up 13 wickets at an average of 24.3. He will need to continue to pick wickets in the coming up Ranji games to even be ahead of someone like a Yash Dayal or even someone like Mukesh Kumar, for example.
Now, the case of Mukesh Kumar is slightly interesting, right? He was a part of that India-England series and then got dropped when it came to India-Bangladesh, but he has not fared too badly when it comes to red ball cricket. The only reason that we can think that he was even dropped was because of this left-arm pacer angle, but looking at his last 5 first-class games, he's played 10 innings, he's got 26 wickets at a decent average of 25.5, and in general, I think this is Mukesh Kumar's purple patch. He's been hitting the right areas, he's someone who can swing the ball both ways, and maybe he might be fairly potent in the BGT itself. For Mukesh Kumar to make a chance for his selection once again, he'll have to ensure that he keeps putting in these performances, and if he keeps doing this, I think there's a good chance that he could make it to that BGT.
Now, someone else who's also part of the pecking order would be Avesh Khan. He hasn't fared too well, to be honest, in the last couple of games. He's picked up 6 wickets in the last 5 innings with an average of 30.8, which is not good at all, to be honest. So for him to be ahead of all these guys, he will need to put on extraordinary performances in the upcoming Ranji Trophy matches to be above all of these guys. Now, there's a lot of talk about the net bowlers that India have picked ahead of the New Zealand test matches. Someone like Mayank, Yadav and Harshit, Rana, I don't think they are ahead of these guys. I think they're just giving that experience of being part of the India camp, especially for someone like Mayank Yadav, because we know selectors like bowlers with express pace and he's one of them. But I don't think players like Mayank Yadav and Harshit Rana are higher in the pecking order as compared to the players who are playing at the Ranji Trophy.
Now, one last thing before we wrap up the video is a couple of interesting observations in the Ranji Trophy itself. Hanuma Vihari and Ishan Kishan both opened the innings. Ishan Kishan did so only in the second innings, and I know that these guys are nowhere near the Indian Test squad at the moment, but it was interesting to see especially Ishan Kishan come up the order to open the batting, and because of the reports that Rohit Sharma might not be there for the first 2 games of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, I think someone like an Ishan Kishan wants to make a statement, come on top of the order and get some big runs to catch the selectors' eyes. And of course, talking about a couple of young talents who are probably going to do well in this Ranji Trophy, firstly is Arshin Kulkarni. He's a fast bowling all-rounder, was a part of the under-19 setup the last time around, and Arshin started off well, getting a 50 and also did decently with the ball, so that's one prospect to watch out for. The other, of course, is the 7-foot sensation that is Nishant Saranu, who is playing for Hyderabad. It'll be interesting to see how his Ranji Trophy season shapes up. He's also only 19 years of age.
And this has been our video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share and subscribe, all that good stuff. All of our links are in the description below. Follow us on our socials. We also have a blog and a newsletter. So if you haven't subscribed or liked or shared all of this, please do that. Thank you so much for watching. We have almost hit 10K. Hopefully we do that by the end of this month. Keep supporting us. Thank you. Peace.